going snorkeling in the middle of the desert.
A little bit unbelievable, but it's true. So when we have to climb back out,
Oh, okay.
we have something that will help us. I'll step out here.
We're here in this underwater cave in Bonaire. Very few people know about it, and I'm about to do something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. Cave snorkeling. I didn't think it would ever be possible, but apparently it is, because I'm about to do it. I always thought you have to be a professional cave diver to do something like this, but apparently not. Oh wow.
Good thing about this, there's no sea urchins and nothing that can stone you in this water.
Oh, okay.
The only thing you probably will see are two things: bats flying around,
here?
fish, a transparent fish.
Oh wow.
Yes, that is small. So if you see something bumping against you, it's probably that fish. Because it's blind. You see what it creates? It creates a bubble, a little bubble, but in that bubble there's like that coral stone, that sandy of the coral stone.
Oh wow.
And that is what falls in here. Once we move our feet, look what happens. That is actually this.
Oh,
This
wow.
will dry up and become very hard, so it can keep all those pillars holding this
Oh wow.
big stone that doesn't fall on our head. They are very fragile once they're starting to form, but once they hook up to this, they get very hard.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and this becomes very big, and this will eventually hook up to this one here. And stalactites are the ones that are coming from above.
I like yours better. T for tits, for stalactites, the tits are hanging. I never heard that one before.
I guess you'll never forget it now.
No. This is the jacuzzi.
This is the jacuzzi.
Oh wow.
This is the natural jacuzzi.
Oh wow.
And this is another part of the jacuzzi.
Oh wow.
So when we're standing down, we take left to come to this part. Don't like to go all the way there. I've been once, but then you scrape yourself because you have to get into this dry part first. Walking in the water.
Yeah, I didn't expect to find bats in underwater cave. Oh, nice. And thanks for showing me that. Is it best to keep the location of this place a secret?
Sometimes it is, yes. Unfortunately, some people have found it, and you see what they leave in there? They leave bottles, Amstel beer.
That's a real disgrace.
Yeah.
I can't believe it, that someone would pollute this beautiful place.
I'll bring this stuff up.
This was the coolest cave I've ever been to. I can cross that one off my bucket list.
Yes.
Cave snorkeling. It's not exactly cave diving, but
Cave snorkeling.
it's close enough.
If you come back, Brian, I'll bring you to cave diving.
Oh, you will?
Yes.
That's the reason for me to come back.
Yeah, that's a reason to get that thing on your bucket list.
Show her how you can speak Polish.
Jak się masz?
Dobrze.
We're in the town of Kralendijk, which is Dutch for Coral Dike, and the town actually isn't that. Even though the Dutch were here on the island in the 1600s, they didn't actually establish this city. The city was actually established in 1810. It wasn't established by the Dutch, but by the British, who actually ruled the island at the time of its establishment, and they built it around the original Dutch fort. So even though it has a very Dutch look to it, it was actually established by the British. Now the name Kralendijk was actually given to this town by the Dutch in 1840. The English originally named this town Playa, which means beach in a few different languages. And in fact, I read that the local Papiamento speaking population of the island still refers to this town as Playa. The name Bonaire is actually French for good air, but the name of the island actually didn't originate from French. It's believed to originate from the Kaikiro word Bonai, meaning country. The Spanish were actually the first Europeans to settle and colonize the island, and they built the first settlement here, Rincon, and we were passing through it earlier. And for this reason, if you look on the map, you will see a lot of Spanish names, specifically of countries. Oh wow. This is the town's famous Fort Oranje. This fort was originally built in 1639 by the Dutch after decades of conflict with the Spanish. The fort itself never actually saw any military action, and up until 1837 it served as the governor's home. And these cannons we see right here were actually installed by the British in the 1800s. Throughout history, the fort served as a warehouse The fort was restored in 1970. Today it actually houses the courthouse and government offices. I read that you can only visit the fort with a tour, but that doesn't seem to be the case. This structure you see behind me is the fort's most famous feature. It's the Fort Oranje Lighthouse, and was actually built in 1932 to replace an earlier stone structure from 1868. This beautiful building you see right here is the current government office of Bonaire, but during colonial times this served as the governor's residence. It was built in 1837 as the new home of the island's governor, as up until that time the island's governor lived in the adjacent Fort Oranje, which we were just at. And the building was restored in 1972 and is now the island's government's main office building. This beautiful building right here is the town's Protestant church. It was built in 1847 as a place of worship for the island's Dutch community, which was mainly Protestant. The church tower was actually added a bit later in 1868. That building you see over there is the Pasang Grahan. It was built around 1890 and was originally the home of the de Broad family. In 1921, it was converted into a government-run guest house where high-ranking officials visiting the island would stay. And on March 2nd, 1944, the former Queen Juliana of the Netherlands stopped here during a short day trip to the island. We're also doing a short day trip to the island, but we won't be able to stay there because since 1980, it's been serving as the city's town hall. This is Caia Grande, and this is the main commercial and tourist center of Kralendijk. This is where you'll find all the city's shops and restaurants. And a nice little town. It feels very European. Hectic or as chaotic as in Willemstad. It's more relaxed. It sort of reminds me a little of Oranjestad in Aruba. Behind me is the St. Bernardus Church. The original church was built in 1829, but the current building dates from 1848 because it replaced the original church, and it's named after St. Bernard, who was the founder of the Cistercian order. This is the former St. Franciscus Convent, originally founded in 1856 to train girls to become Catholic nuns, and now serves as a home for the elderly. As interesting as the history and wilderness of Bonaire are, the island's main attraction actually lies beneath the sea. The reefs of Bonaire are said to be some of the most beautiful in the entire world, making it one of the world's top diving destinations. In fact, many tourists come to Bonaire just for the diving, so you haven't really been to Bonaire unless you've explored at least one of its many spectacular reefs. So, I'm gonna head down there and end my journey with some snorkeling. Check this out. They may be kind of hard to see, but right in front of us we have a huge school of smallmouth grunt. They're really common in the waters of Bonaire and typically travel in large schools such as this and feed on plankton, mollusks, and small crustaceans. Right over here we have a school of French grunt. These fish are more yellow than the smallmouth grunt we just saw and also have diagonal stripes. They get their names from the sound they make when they eat, and even use their swim bladders to amplify the sound. Those creatures right there are sea urchins. They love to cling to rocks in shallow waters where they feed on algae. Their sharp poisonous spines protect them from predators, and although painful, are not lethal to humans. You see that strange looking object right there? It may look like some sort of weird mollusk, but it's actually the skeleton of a sea urchin. That fish right there is a yellow-tailed parrotfish, and it's pretty easy to see how it got its name. Right now, the fish is in its initial phase, but once it reaches its terminal phase, its scales will turn into a beautiful bluish green. Let's keep exploring and see what else we can find. This neat-looking fish we see right here is a juvenile French angelfish. Juveniles act as cleaners for eels and large fish. As it gets older, those yellow stripes we see will completely disappear and the fish will change from black to a series of bright colors. Let's keep exploring and maybe we'll be lucky enough to spot an adult. Here check this out. Right in front of us we have a school of two different species of fish that are often found swimming together. Those brighter ones we see are surgeonfish, and those darker ones we see are Caribbean blue tang. If you've seen the movie Finding Dory, then you know what a tang is. Marine biologists believe that these two species stick together because of their similar appearance. Yes, I was hoping we'd find one of these fish. Remember that juvenile French angelfish we saw earlier? Well, right in front of us we have an adult. It's also sometimes called the paru or Indian fish, and is one of the most common species of angelfish found in the ocean. Although it's not uncommon to see lone individuals, they're usually found swimming in pairs. They are monogamous, and once they find a mate, they stick together and are extremely territorial. They love to hang out around coral fans and feed mainly on coral, sponges, and small algae. Wow, talk about some amazing camouflage. That fish right there is a sand diver. It belongs to a family of fish called the lizardfish. What's neat about this fish is that it actually has the ability to change color at will to blend in with its surroundings. For this reason, it has very few predators, and in many marine ecosystems is considered the apex predator. They spend most of their time on the sea floor lying in wait for their prey, which consists entirely of other fish. I have to say, I was actually wondering whether or not a day trip to Bonaire would be worth it, and if it would be enough to experience everything I wanted to. And I have to say, it was definitely worth it, and for me, it was enough. I did get to experience everything I wanted to. A bit of history, nature, snorkeling, and even some cave snorkeling. Most of it was thanks to my guide Brian. With Brian, I actually felt like he was more of a friend I've known for years than a tour guide. This was a really amazing place, and I'm glad I did this day trip. But now it's back to the airport because we still have some more exploring to do on Curacao. I'm now returning to Curacao to explore the island's rugged north. Right here we have some Kadushi liquor. It's a native liquor of Bonaire, and our guide yesterday told us that they brew it from a special cactus grown only on Bonaire, and this typical Bonaire, you can find it anywhere else. We didn't have time to try any yesterday at our restaurant, so we just bought some at the airport, and we're gonna try some today at our hotel. And cheers. It's not even very strong, it's actually kind of sweet, but pretty good.